Welcome to season number 2 of the Go For 2 podcast, episode number 4. I am your host, Jackson Wallace. I got my friend, my buddy, my pal, Lucas Avery with me. Lucas, how you doing?
Fantastic. All right. We're a week closer to football, Mr. Jackson.
We're getting there one step at a time, baby. One step at a time. I can't wait. It's going to be lovely.
So, anywho, first off, comments?
Oh,
questions,
yes. As always,
concerns?
just in case you guys don't know, every week we upload this video onto YouTube as well, so you can leave us a comment in the YouTube section, or you can leave us a comment on the actual podcast itself, and on iTunes or Apple, leave us a review. We'll be happy to read every single one of them as soon as the show opens. So we got a couple different comments today, Mr. Lucas, and guess what? It's not only for Mr. Casey. Casey has some competition.
Did he comment though?
Casey sure did comment.
All right. Well, we gotta go with his first.
I mean, that's true. Casey got 2 comments. All right. First one, he says, "All right, man. Since I've been up here in East Oklahoma, I've been lacking on all my sports info. Still trying to get a job and get me and kill me some chickens at the Tyson chicken plant. So thank you guys for keeping me updated." And then he says his next comment, he says, "Look, guys, don't get all hyped about the draft. Slow your roll. Let's see how these great first rounders do. It's the pros, and 300 to 400 pound linemen break some bones. Ask Alex Smith, he knows." Ooh.
Okay. First off, the Alex Smith thing is crazy, because if you look at his injury compared to I'm blanking on the other quarterback. Yes, on to his injury, it's like the same date, the same injury, the same left tackle was injured, but both of them were like all pro left tackles that they had that were hurt
at the same yard line.
Yeah, like 9-time Pro Bowlers that like J.J. Watt, and then some other guy is the one that
Lawrence Taylor or something. Yeah.
Yes. So it's
Isn't
like
that,
these legends,
isn't that crazy?
all this stuff lines up. It's wild. It was really wild. I haven't gotten to see the show that's about him, but I think you did.
I did. Maybe we'll touch on that a little bit later. I really enjoyed. If you guys haven't looked at it, so like on ESPN, they did something. They have a program called like E60 or something, and they just kind of do like little highlights. It's like a 30 for 30, but not that as deep as a 30 for 30. But this one was, they followed Alex Smith around for like 15 months, right? Since the injury happened, leading up to it, they told a little short story about his career, how he was drafted to the 49ers and the Chiefs and ultimately the Redskins. And how he was, kind of going through obstacles and tribulations and stuff. And then they show his injury. And, dude, like, I'm going to tell you guys right now, graphic warning, okay? If you guys have weak stomachs, don't watch it. Because there's some parts on there where they show his leg, like, his leg had become infected, right? Like, after the surgery. Mm-hmm. And so they had to, like, go in and they do what's called a, you might know, I think it's called debridement or something. Okay. Yeah, anyway, so they had to like take away like muscle and skin and stuff, and like it was really, really gruesome, but it's definitely worth a watch. I 100% promise you it's worth your time. Go watch the Alex Smith. It's called Project 11 on ESPN. Short little plug for Sports Center. but go check it out. It's worth your time, I promise.
No free shout outs.
Yeah, contact us, guys. You want to, get some ad time on the Go For 2 pod. All right, but I have another comment. This is from our friend Tyler. All right, we called him out last time for not contributing. He says, I'm going to contribute this time. So, all right, Tyler. From Road TK, he says, "This is the baby goat. Garrett, as an offensive coordinator, will be better, and I think he can develop Daniel Jones tremendously." Lucas, you have any thoughts on that?
Better compared to who? Just like than they had before? I mean, yeah.
Better than their staff before, yeah.
Yeah, I think they we're expecting them to upgrade in a bunch of stuff on their staff. And you would like to think that Danny Dimes is going to get better. And, I mean, he did a good job with Dak. So
that's true. That's definitely
hard
true.
To argue with it.
I think so, too. Tyler, thank you for the comment, man. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, I've been worried about Garrett going to the Giants. I really think we're in for an 0-2 year versus them. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. I think it's going to be really, really rough for us against the Giants this year. We're just kind of due for one of those bad years. Still going to beat the Redskins, Still going to dominate the Redskins because they have nothing going on for them. Probably split the series against the Eagles. But anyway, those are our comments, Mr. Lucas. Thank you guys for commenting.
Cool.
Really do appreciate that.
Preach.
Really helps out the channel.
I believe there's one other thing, Jackson, you wanted to touch up on real quick before we really delve into things.
Yeah. So, Go Over 2 podcast and us in general, me and Lucas, want to send our condolences into the world. Legendary coach Don Shula, if you guys hadn't heard, passed away earlier on this week. So we just kind of want to give a moment for him. He was the legendary coach, most winningest coach in NFL history. He coached the only undefeated season all the way through the playoffs, through the Super Bowl, the undefeated Miami Dolphins. I think it was back in 1972. So anyway, moment of silence for Mr. Don Shula. All right. Thanks, Don. Really, thank you so much. We will not be forgotten. We promise.
It's crazy career. Everything you ever heard about the guy was amazing. And for as good of a coach as he was, everyone says he was twice the person. So.
Oh, for sure. Nothing but good things.
Anywho, we got some stuff happening this week, Jackson.
Let's do it.
So I believe it's Thursday night. They're doing a 3-hour show. The NFL is, to reveal the schedules, preseason and regular season. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, because that means, like, later on we'll be able to get into projections.
Yes.
Who's going to do what, got all the records and everything.
We're going to nerd out, bro. We're going to nerd out and go deep dive.
Yeah, we're probably going to do, like, a super early one. We might do a deal where every week we go through the different conferences, or maybe we'll do the divisions. So a bunch of cool stuff, but
I'm really looking forward to it.
Super excited for that. What you got, Jackson, off the top of your head for the Cowboys? Go.
Let's see, 16 games. I'm gonna think we're gonna go 9-7 this year.
Ooh,
better than last year. Better than 8-8, 9-7. I think we make the playoffs as a wild card.
12-4.
12-4.
12-4.
At you, bro. Okay, all right. 12-4 for the Titans, man. I'm liking it. I think it all depends on who we have starting at center, but we'll
for you guys,
we'll see. Yeah.
Well, hey, little bit of information here. If you have watched the Hometown Heroes pod, you will hear me say that Logan Ryan. Like, no word on him yet, but it looks like he is officially not going to return to the Titans. We gave his number to the rookie that we drafted, Kristen Fulton, and a couple hours after we announced that Kristen Fulton was getting that number, Logan Ryan went to Twitter and Instagram and did his whole spiel about, he was thank you to the Titans and the fans and everything. His time in Tennessee was over. I've heard some rumors about him to the Jets, him to the Dolphins. You don't really know what's going to happen with him, but
solid corner. I mean, anybody will be super happy to have him. I mean, you could plug him in at different positions. He's very versatile.
Yeah, he had like an amazing year. It's super weird. He probably had one of his best years in terms of stats. But also, like, one stat that jumps out at you is he also allowed more yards than any other cornerback in the league. But we also played the Chiefs twice, and we didn't have Malcolm Butler. Yeah. So Logan Ryan's not really that fast, and he's getting up there in age, so.
He still can add some depth and add some veteran leadership to any team. I mean, I know you guys really wanted him. He had like 5 sacks last year. Like, you can do anything with him. Like, he's not scared to come up and tackle. Mm-hmm. Anyways. Love
12-4, Jackson. All right.
12, right, dude. I can't wait to dive into that podcast, to dive into the schedule and nerd out. So anyway, that releases tonight, guys. I think it's 8 o'clock Eastern. I'll be watching it just to kind of see what's going on.
Super stoked. So just a little, a little preemptive deal. All right, I know I asked you like what we thought our own personal team's records would be. That was just for funsies. Just off the top of your head, like, who do you think is going to be the best team in the NFL this year?
Best team in the NFL. It's really hard for me to go against the Chiefs right now. Patrick Mahomes really kind of coming into his own. Apparently, Lucas, so I just heard about this recently. Apparently he didn't start like really in-depth understanding, reading, and can like understand in defenses and learning coverages and schemes up until like a year ago.
It
right?
was like over halfway through the season last season.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah, I guess like 6 months ago. Yeah, up until halfway through the season, it's like, and then he really started hitting another level. So if this dude with this talent, strong arm, excellent feet, and he's starting to really understand the game, as I say, kind of the forest through the trees, then he could take his game to a whole new different level. Their offense is still going to be extremely potent. They're in a division I expect them to win 100%. I don't feel like Denver has upgraded enough to really challenge them yet. Same thing with LA. Maybe Tyrod kind of surprises us, but I don't expect them to take a huge leap forward into like that division title. So I expect the Kansas City Chiefs to come out and win their division and be, Tom Brady's not there with the Patriots anymore. I mean, he doesn't really have a whole lot of competition. Maybe Pittsburgh is a surprising team, right? Okay. Maybe challenging them, but yeah, I got Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs beating. That's the best team this year. How about you?
For the best team, I'm going with the 49ers. The reason I gave it to them over the Chiefs is because their offseason moves up to this point. I know we talked about it last week. We didn't like the draft of the Chiefs. We love the draft of the 49ers.
Absolutely.
And of course, in the back of our heads, we've got our little
Deshaun Watson
spooky idea that might happen.
What if that happens during our Spooktober episode? Or something ridiculous.
That would be amazing. The Spooktober episode. It's the spookiest thing to happen this week. Deshaun Watson gets traded to the 49ers. The NFL is over because it's been completely taken over by the boy.
Spooky.
But yeah, I got to go with the 49ers just like based on the moves that they did, especially around the draft. I loved how they drafted, and I really didn't like how the Chiefs did. I don't feel like the Chiefs have gotten better over the offseason. I feel like the 49ers have.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, and if anything, the 49ers are going to be super hungry because they lost the Super Bowl. Yeah. So I can see them being hungrier to get back compared to the Chiefs. So a little more motivation maybe.
For sure. I know usually we talk about like teams that lose in the Super Bowl, they kind of have like a little bit of like it's not like a curse, but it's like, they kind of fluster and falter a little bit after a loss to a Super Bowl.
Rams.
Yeah.
Yep,
it just
kind of
it typically happens, right? But we were also saying because of the moves that they are making, and only time will tell the results of that they could be one of the few teams that not only can bounce back into the playoffs the following year, but potentially make another run at a title. So right. I like that pick with the 49ers. That's good, but I'm still sticking with the MVP, Patrick Mahomes, man. Like, I think he's going to take his game to a whole new different level. Am I expecting 50 touchdowns a year? No, but I just don't see a whole lot of competition in that division, whereas with the 49ers, I mean, you got the Seahawks, you got Russell Wilson, who was in the running for MVP last year, right? You got Arizona Cardinals, who just got the best wide receiver in the league and also added some different pieces to their O-line. And you got the Rams, who, yes, they've been doing some restructuring. We'll see what they can do, but they're still a threat. So I like them. I think they have a better chance of having a better record. But the Niners could be a better team.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of how I'm approaching it.
Worst team.
Or
you can go with, we'll say worst record since we're talking about schedules. Sorry. Although I know we're not like super in depth with this, but.
Dude, okay, so it comes down to two teams for me here. And I have it for different reasons. Yours is easy. Number one.
You want me to go first? Okay, you got it.
I got the Jaguars. I have the Jaguars.
Minshew mania. Can't stand
Minshew, because dude, the mustache ain't it, bro. It's not. They also we talked. I think we talked a little bit about it in our Hometown Heroes pod, but the Leonard Fournette's 5th-year option did not get picked up by the Jaguars, right? So I think he's kind of on his way out of there. He's in a prove it type of.
Right. We're going to talk about that some more later too.
Yeah, atmosphere. Anyway, but I think they're in a harder division because I feel like Houston's gotten better. Well, no, I don't feel like Houston's gotten better. I feel like actually gotten worse. But still, Houston's still tough, right? It's hard for them to beat them. I feel like Indianapolis has Phillip Rivers at the helm with quarterback, right? I think that's better than Jacoby Brissett. Is it miles better? No, but it's better. And then you have the Titans, right? Second best team in the league last year. So, I mean, they're going to lose both games to the Titans. I feel like it's going to be incredibly hard for them to do anything well. My second potentially team.
We own them.
Could be the Washington Redskins. The only reason I'm not really leaning that way is because our division's so bad anyway. They could win some games out of that, but I mean, the Washington organization, I don't believe in Dwayne Haskins, right? They've been injury prone for forever. They just lost their all-pro left tackle to San Francisco. So those are the two teams I'm battling with right now.
Right.
Leaning more towards Jacksonville.
So part of me wanted to pick the Bengals.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a good pick too.
But maybe even the Dolphins if they don't start Tua. But I gotta go with the Redskins. I don't have faith in Dwayne Haskins. I didn't like him coming out. Everyone tells you he's amazing, and I know he's got a big arm. Just not a big fan.
Yeah.
And then I feel like they don't really have receivers. They don't really have a running game. They lost their tackle.
Mm-hmm. They're all over the place. I mean, they really are.
Yeah. And you talked about like y'all's division not being as good, but when I look at it, I'm like the Giants are going to beat them at least one time, probably twice.
Yeah.
I see the Eagles sweeping them, and I see the Cowboys sweeping them. And so
that's a good point. I just see them being able to steal a game more from us than Jacksonville from you guys.
Right. But anyways.
Bad teams, both of them.
Terrible.
Are we going to end up eating our... Hold on. Lucas, one thing I'm like low-key afraid of. Are we going to end up like eating our words here? Like,
for what?
What are the realistic chances that the Jacksonville Jaguars or the Washington Redskins turn out to be actually nasty this year?
Yeah, what, like Super Bowl?
like playoff contenders. What are the chances? What would you give
contenders?
Them? Yeah.
So that's like at least an 8-8 season?
Yeah, 8-8 or better.
Pretty slim.
Yeah, I'd say like 10%, maybe 15%. I mean,
unless like Cam Newton goes to Jacksonville and maybe, I don't know.
He goes to Florida?
Anyways.
We'll see. I don't know. Curious. Something to think about.
Continuing on the schedule thoughts right now. All right.
Okay.
Let's I know the NFL announced that there will be no international games. So I want to know what you think about that, because number one, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like, I love it because we're not spreading coronavirus or whatever. Okay.
Right.
I love it because you don't have to travel across the world to go play a football game. And those games are scary. Like, they are. Like, let's say the Cowboys are going to play a terrible team, the Bengals. You expect the Cowboys to win, right?
Right.
And you get over there and weird things happen in London, man.
Mm-hmm.
Weird things happen. Teams do weird stuff.
That's
Jacksonville
true.
Caught fire over there and made it to the AFC Championship after that.
That's so true. They did, bro. They really did.
What happened? Of course, that was their one winning season in like 10 years. So
true.
Bravo. But like, it's scary playing over there. Teams don't like it. Fans don't like it unless you're over there, and then you love it, and you're sad that they're not coming.
Right.
But I live in Tennessee, so I'm glad the Titans don't have to go across the pond.
Yeah. There's a couple different, I think, ways you can look at it from. Like, one, I understand that it's a good thing to, like, I understand, like, the NFL wanted to really promote its brand, not just being, like, America's sport, because it is right now. The NFL is king, right? Mm-hmm. But wanting to spread that to the world, okay? Because if you get other countries involved, other areas, that's more money being spent on jerseys, potential more ticket sales. You're in another market, so you're putting more ads out there. It's a flowing thing, and it's good overall for the grand scope of football, American football.
However, let me say I don't like getting up at like 7 a.m. to watch a football game.
Selfish of me, but true. I don't like doing that either. Selfish of me, but here's the thing. I don't like it because, especially like for two reasons. One, you're traveling a really long way. And depending on how the schedule is, you could be, for instance, say the Cowboys are playing the Rams. We're just on the West Coast. All right? And say we got to go play in London the very next week. We got to cross all the way across the United States and cross the pond. On those travel weeks, you're not getting the same kind of practice reps. You're not getting the same near rest. Jet lag affects a lot of different players at different times, right? The other reason I don't like it is because for some teams, unfortunately, that counts as your home game. You have one home game in London. So you essentially have 7 home games as to where the rest of the league has a full 8. And I just don't think it's right. Well, it's not that I don't think it's right. It's just like there's definitely an element of unfairness to it because a home game, I would think you have an advantage being at home because, I mean, you're in your own bed, right? You're not traveling. You have better practice. You're on your schedule. And I get like the NFL has like, you have to deal with as many away games as you do home games. But yeah, being away across the pond or even in Mexico or wherever, it affects that. It affects that that timetable. So
right. I mean, let's say you get over there and it's supposed to be a home game for the Titans and we're playing, I don't know, the Raiders. And let's say they just love the Raiders. Well, then it's supposed to be a home game for us, but they're getting the home field advantage because they got all the Raiders.
You got 80,000 Raider fans there or something. Yeah, like it's different. So I can understand why the NFL is doing it. I remember the NFL used to have like European teams. Like that was the thing. It was like NFL Europe. It was like the London Fire or something. And I don't know if I'm getting that team right or not, but that used to be a thing. They actually used to be in Madden too, Lucas. You could play with the European
teams. Well, the Mexico
teams.
games aren't as bad in terms of time and the stuff point now. The field was just terrible. And according to players and
deal with injuries and stuff at that point, it's just not the same grade of.
Exactly. Well, let's go to Canada.
I'm down for Canada, man. That sounds fun. But yeah, like especially when you deal with London games, it's you're waking up a lot earlier. You're dealing with travel. I don't like that. So I'm happy there's no international games this year for those reasons, not just because of Corona, but I understand why the NFL's doing it. I get it, right? So it's good for the game, but I always secretly hope we don't have a international game that year because of those reasons.
Me too. Right. Anywho, the Cowboys, Jackson.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. What'd they do? Who'd they sign?
We signed some. You might have heard of him. I don't know. It's like one of the very few redheads in the league. Okay, we signed Andy Dalton, right? So he was a former quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals, led them to the playoffs, I think 1, maybe 2 years. Has won a playoff, maybe it was twice, hasn't won a playoff game. Obviously, he was pushed out of Cincinnati, right? Benched at one point last year, I think, for A.J. McCarron. But now it's Joe Burrow's team. They drafted him number 1, so Andy is a free agent. I like this signing. I really go deep in depth on the Hometown Heroes episodes that we upload to YouTube every single week. Be sure and check that out if you want to hear me and Lucas debate about this for a little bit. But I'll give you guys kind of the short and sweet version. I like the signing because 2 reasons. 1, it's insurance, right? We immediately become one of the best quarterback rooms in the league. Not the best, but I think that one's over there in New Orleans. But I think we become one of the top 5 or so quarterback rooms in the league. And it's insurance in case something happens with Dak. A couple things could happen with Dak. Number 1, he gets injured. That's the obvious one. That would be terrible, but I feel more comfortable having Andy Dalton coming in and still giving us a chance at the playoffs as opposed to, say, Cooper Rush, who we had before. Right. Number 2 thing could happen to Dak. He could hold out and not play. And whereas before our season's arguably over, now we have Andy Dalton, who I think still gives us a chance, and a much better chance than Cooper Rush at making the playoffs, right? So quarterback insurance, love that. Number 2 reason, I think it sends a little subliminal message to Dak. It is, and I don't think it's a huge factor. I don't, like me and Lucas talked about, I don't think he cares that much, but it is a small sign that, hey, even if you ultimately decide not to come back, we're going to be okay. So Dak has to sign his franchise tender by July 15th. If he does not, he voids the agreement and therefore will sit out the rest of the year and won't get his money. A la Le'Veon Bell. Only difference with Le'Veon Bell is he signed his franchise tag, right? So, but every game he missed, he got deducted a certain amount of pay cut. And once you reach, I think it's week 7, Lucas, maybe 8, then
believe that's what you said in the Hometown Heroes.
You void your agreement, and then you don't get paid, and you're out, and you can't get back in. So,
right,
we're gonna find out pretty soon. But I like the move.
Yeah, it's definitely a good move. Got a little nugget for you concerning him in the take it or leave it later. So,
Just
be ready. All right. Keeping it in the quarterback room because we talk about quarterbacks all the time. All right, most important player on the field, and we got to talk about Mr. Cam Newton. All right, so some other stuff has come out recently, Jack, and I've seen it on ESPN, I've seen it on Fox Sports, I've seen it on Twitter, Instagram. Not sure who started it, but a lot of people were talking about it. So, people were talking about, should Cam Newton come back, Jackson, if he's not going to be a starter? Some people are saying yes, he doesn't need to take a break. Other people are saying he literally needs to sit out a year and wait and get a starting job next year. So I want to know your opinion. What's your take? Like which way should he go with this?
I think he should come and he should play. I don't care if it's a backup position. I think you are put in a much better spot being a backup than sitting out of a year for a couple of reasons. Number one, obviously you get paid. You get paid some sort of money, right? There is some kind of financial agreement for you being on the team, and it is typically better than zero. So I think from a financial perspective, that's a better thing to do. Number two, I think there's a small chance, however, a more realistic chance that you will get to play being a backup. Quarterbacks in this league get hurt all the time. It shows, we get reminded every single year of how fragile and how delicate the quarterback position is and why it is so important to have one. Because if your franchise quarterback becomes derailed, a la the Pittsburgh Steelers last year, you have a much harder chance of making the playoffs than you would had you had Big Ben, right? So backup quarterbacks are important, and they're becoming even more important as the game progresses. Number three, you come in and you can learn a system. Who says you can't come in, sign up to be the backup? Say you're the backup for Gardner Minshew. Okay? You're coming into Jacksonville and they decide Mustache Mania ain't it. So you can win the starting job. There's a chance that you could come in and win a starting job on some certain teams, or you could come in, learn the system, work your way in with the coaches, and who knows what happens next year. And if you end up signing with that team and they decide to go with you, you already know the lingo, you know the terminology, you know the city, you know there's so much more advantages to have it there as opposed to sitting out. If you sit out, then what are teams going to do? This is what have you done for me recently, league? Right. If you sit out a year, then all the teams are gonna look at as your tape from before. You're hoping they remember how good you were in the past, not what you've done now.
Yeah, and
2015 Cam, and you are gambling that there's not a new backup quarterback that got a job somewhere else that is thriving, or that all quarterback rooms are full, or that nobody wants to give you a realistic shot, and then you have to work your way back anyway. I think it's a no-brainer. I think you play even if you are a backup quarterback.
Yeah, so excuse me. I definitely agree. I think that if you, just look at players that miss game time. Zeke.
Yes.
Melvin Gordon, Le'Veon Bell. I know these are all halfbacks, but
the principle holds the same.
In my head, I would think it's even more important for a quarterback because missing training camp and all that, you're not in sync with your wide receivers. You, like you said, like if you come in, you play as a backup and you have a chance to come in, you're still in the sway of things. You've been talking to the coaches. You've been around the guys on the team.
Yeah.
And I think even if you come and you ride the bench for a year, at least you've still been in football.
Right.
And you're not at home throwing the ball with the trainer.
You're showing dedication too,
practice.
Even around the league. Right.
Exactly. And it looks good. It looks way better to other football teams. Because you don't look as selfish. And that's already kind of a knock. Excuse me. It's already kind of a knock on Cam Newton, is that like his attitude and stuff.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
So where do you think he might land this year?
There's a couple different places, man. I still think I'm holding out for Jacksonville. I know I mentioned Chicago before, but obviously they went and they got Nick Foles. They didn't pick up the Mitch Trubisky option, which tells me they're probably going to start with Trubisky this year and put him on a prove-it year, and we'll see what happens with that. But I would have said LA, but they drafted Justin Herbert. So I'm right now one of the only places I'm thinking Jacksonville. I don't think I've said it a million times. The mustache mania ain't it. I think he can go there. I think he could be the starter right away. Maybe they come in and they say, hey, you're going to come in and be the backup right now. You can earn the starting job, whatever they tell him. But he can come in and realistically do that. I think there's a bunch of different backup jobs available around the league, but I think his best chance to start right now is in Jacksonville. I don't know, man. Everywhere else seems kind of full. They have their starting quarterback right now.
Yeah, I've got two places. Number one, of course,
Or
Jacksonville. I brought it up earlier. New England could also be a thing. I don't think they want him.
Probably not. But that's a place where they have a quarterback question.
Right. So first off, Jacksonville makes a lot of sense. I don't think they'll do it though. I think it makes more sense than any other place, but just because of how their management and stuff is, and they got Minshew, and that's what the fans want. And
for some reason, I don't understand why.
The old GM of the Titans says if you spend time listening to the fans, one day you'll just be a fan. You won't be the GM anymore. You get fired.
Yeah.
And so we'll see what happens with there. What I'm expecting is for him to go to the Redskins.
Okay.
Be a backup for Haskins. Kind of the same kind of player. Big arms, big strong guys, have the ability to move, and old head coach is there. And so, bring him in, hey, he's going to be the backup. Let's say Haskins goes down, or he's hurt, or I just said the same thing, or he doesn't know what's going on, because he's a young quarterback.
And that's not Ron Rivera's guy.
Right.
Ron Rivera did not draft him. He inherited Haskins.
Right, and he didn't, and I don't think he really wanted to bench Cam. It's kind of.
You think so? That was going to be my follow-up question.
Yeah.
Did he bench him?
I think it was. He did, but I feel like it was out of his hands. He's didn't want to do this, but it's just got to be done.
Yeah. I could see that.
We'll see what happens. That's my pick.
I realistically could see that. I could see him coming into Washington because, they're dysfunctional. We saw Dwayne Haskins last year, and I know he doesn't have a very good supporting cast, but he didn't look good. He didn't impress me at all last year with Washington, and I don't expect more of the same this year. He could surprise me. We'll see after he has a full year within the offense and studying the playbook and learning the terminology, but I didn't see it last year. So, Washington, Jacksonville, New England definitely seem like different places without a franchise quarterback kind of set in stone,
Right. And if you're looking for a guy that's like Haskins to bring him up, Cam Newton fits the mold.
That's true.
So
more mobile, agile.
That's my favorite pick. Yeah, as a good pick. Yeah.
That's a solid pick, man. Washington. That's a solid pick. I like it. All
right, so real quick, we said earlier we're gonna talk about Leonard Fournette, so let's dive in on him real quick. 5th-year option got declined by Jacksonville. There's been trade rumors. I want to know what you think. Number one, what do you think Jacksonville's thinking about Leonard Fournette right now? And then, do you expect them to make a move with him?
Maybe they might test the waters and see if he's available for a trade. You know how much Jacksonville loves to trade people. They'll send them all over the place and try and recoup with draft picks. I think they're in a rebuilding mode, and they've been in a rebuilding mode for quite a while. I think they have a lot of different questions. And as Leonard Fournette approaches 30 and gets closer and closer, his trade stock is going to continue to decline. So if they're going to trade him, I feel like now's the time. They have him come in on a prove-it deal. I know his attitude has been a problem in the locker room before.
Even in college.
And even in college, that's been an issue. Does his talent outweigh that? No. Doesn't seem like that to me. I know he had a decent year last year, but he doesn't stick out to me to where he's putting up Saquon or Zeke numbers to where we can deal with that in the locker room. So I feel like they're going to decline his option. They declined his option already. I feel like they're going to try and trade him, to be honest with you. and just see if they can get anything out of him.
I think if they can get a good deal that they like, I definitely see them trading him.
Yeah.
If they're not going to trade him,
I don't see a long-term deal for him in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I don't think they do. I think they still ride him. I think that he was the only good thing that came out of Jacksonville in terms of production, in terms of numbers. He was pretty much it that came out of Jacksonville last year. Then you got to think like some people say that he's lazy, he gives up on the team sometimes. His college teammates called him out, some of them, and said that he gave up on their team. He's injury prone, so it's hard to. And you know, the fifth-year option, maybe they love him. For all we know, the rumors could all be wrong. For all we know, they love him, but the fifth-year option was just too much money. They want to try to get him on a cheaper deal.
Which, again, is possible. They could just stick with him for a bit, get him on a cheap deal for 4 years or so, and give him the ball 25 times a game until his legs are gone. And let him retire after that. You never know. I think that is going to depend and be predetermined by if they can get anything for him.
Yeah, do you think they should trade him?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. I think he's a good running back. I don't think he gives you enough production right now to say he's worth keeping as opposed to, say, a third and a sixth. Right. Or a second and a seventh or something. I feel like you could how many times have we said this before? SEC quarterbacks and SEC running backs and Big Ten running backs are kind of a dime a dozen right now. Tank for the draft next year. They don't really have a whole lot going on in Jacksonville, so why invest a whole lot of resources into a running back with locker room problems?
Yeah, so I think they should if they can get a good deal for him, but I don't think they're going to be able to get a good deal. I don't see the halfback market really, there's not really a big demand for a running back right now. And so you're not going to get a good trade deal on him. I mean, the Titans got rid of Jarrell Casey because we wanted to offload Cap,
Yeah.
And when you want to offload a player because of X reason, their value goes down to other teams. And so I don't see other teams, I don't even think you get a second, probably not a third for him.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really hard just because of how the value that other teams probably looking at him. He's been okay. He's locker room issues and stuff like that. His production doesn't make up for it like some other players have been able to. And so,
he doesn't have that big of a market.
End up keeping him. Yeah, I think they'll end up keeping him. He'll become a free agent, go somewhere and be a backup halfback in LA or something next year.
Yeah. He'll probably hit the free agent market, and we'll see who takes a chance on him, giving him kind of a lower end deal. Probably sign him to a 2-year, $5 million a year type thing. And if he has a resurgence, then sign him to a long term deal. That's going to be kind of his angle, I think.
Right. So next up, Mr. Jackson, we have Take It or Leave It.
Ooh, it's my favorite part of the pod. Love it, love it, love it.
All right, for those of you that don't know, Take It or Leave It is a segment we do every week with the Go For Two podcast. Okay, I give Jackson about 5 statements. He takes it or he leaves it. We talk a little bit, do a little shimmy here, shimmy there, and it's a good time.
Love a shimmy.
So, number 1.
Mm-hmm.
So Odell Beckham has come out and said that he believes this will be a great year for him. He's faster, stronger, all that stuff, Mm-hmm. I don't know if you agree. Will this be a great year for Odell Beckham?
No, I'm going to leave it because I've heard a lot of talk coming out from Odell Beckham before. I think he said at some point last year, he finally has a quarterback now or something. He's back with his buddy Jarvis. They're going to dominate the league. No, it's just not. It's not. It didn't work with Freddie Kitchens with that offense. Maybe with their new coaching staff, they're going to highlight Odell more. I don't see it, man. He had a really good year. I think it was 2016 with the Giants when they went to the playoffs. I know he said, or Victor Cruz recently came out and said that for those guys who don't remember, I think the night or the weekend before their first playoff game, Odell, Victor Cruz, a bunch of different wide receivers were in Miami on a boat, just kind of out partying or whatever before their playoff game. And Victor Cruz came out and said that has come to bite him back in the rear end several different times. Or now it's kind of haunting him, and I think it's going to haunt Odell too. I don't, because of that, and he has a perception of not being like taking everything kind of like super serious. Like, he gets really frustrated and upset when the ball's not thrown his way. He gets really upset and frustrated when he's not scoring and doing well. It's like he wants to do really well, but I don't question his intent, but I question the way he goes about things sometimes. And I don't believe this next year in Cleveland is going to be the end-all, be-all Odell Beckham 1,500-yard season.
Right. I mean, I'm also going to leave it. My main thing is he's had a great year, and I feel like Odell did so much with the Giants.
Yeah.
And now I don't necessarily think he's like the number one target. He's like 1A, and then Jarvis Landry is like 1B, you know?
Right.
So I mean, I think he can have a good year if the coaching staff comes in and does some good stuff, and Baker Mayfield plays better this year, and their offensive line plays better.
Which I would think that, they got an O-lineman, they got their piece. I think they signed Jack Conklin as well.
Yes.
All right, yep. So they picked up 2 different O-linemen. That should definitely help. Also, one thing we can't forget, Baker Mayfield, with all this corona stuff, is not shooting commercials. Therefore, hopefully he's looking at his playbook. So less commercial shooting from Baker should theoretically lead to better numbers. We'll have to wait and see.
Still throws a better ball than Lamar Jackson. Anyways, True. Number 2, Frank Gore has gone to the Jets.
Yes.
All right. For those of you that don't know, this man is linking up with Adam Gase again. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but, whatever.
To each his own, man. I don't know.
Hey, my man is a dinosaur, and he is still out there grinding. This dude, and he's still a good running back, I feel like.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Future Hall of Famer.
I want to know, are they tired of Le'Veon Bell? Like, are they trying to replace him? Maybe setting up for a trade?
We've heard some reports saying, we even said it, in the Hometown Heroes a little bit, Le'Veon isn't really wanted in New York. He was trying to seek a trade last year. He wanted out. But nobody would bite or something. I don't know. It's like that year off that he took really, really hurt him. Dak, it really, really hurt him. So, you're just not the same player, not the same guy. And I understand that the line wasn't the same and that they're rebuilding and, they got a new quarterback and everything. But still, if they signed Frank Gore, I don't think they signed him to give him the ball 5 times a game. I think they signed him to give him 10. He's going to have a role in the production, which means that there's going to be, even if it's 5 less carries a game, there's going to be less carries for Le'Veon. So I think they're ready. I think they're ready to move on from him. I don't know if he does well in the locker room.
Right. I think Frank Gore can definitely come in and be a first or second down back.
Yeah.
Bell come in, be the third down back, and let Frank Gore be your workhorse, because if they believe that Le'Veon Bell can't get it done,
Right. And I hope Le'Veon Bell can. I really do, because, back in 2017, 2018, dude was a fantasy point machine, right?
Well, I ain't picking him up.
I'm not either. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Next up, Mr. Jackson, staying on the halfbacks. Marshawn Lynch has been talking to Seattle.
Yeah.
Do you think it's worth bringing him back? I do want to say they have 2 good running backs already without him, but both of them got hurt. So.
Yeah, I think so. I think you get him on a veteran minimum deal or something. I feel like he wants to play. I don't know. Give him a lifetime supply of Skittles or something. I don't know. You do whatever you got to do to get that man in that locker room. But I feel like he provides you insurance, because you just said durability issues with our running backs. It's a thing. 2, it gives you a really good option of the goal line. Purely for goal line circumstances, we're inside the 10-yard line. We're inside the 5-yard line. You bring Marshawn Lynch out there, he is an immediate threat. He will give you 5 hard-earned yards 3-4 times a game. And that's worth having him in there. You can even bring him in, line him up as the fullback, right? You got whoever you got back there, Prosy or something. out there tailback, you can give it a fake to Marshawn and a toss out. You could do some different read options with Russell Wilson, and just bring him put him in 10 plays a game. If you bring him on a veteran minimum deal, if it makes sense in the cap, he gives you a lot of options in the goal line formation for sure. Right.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think you gotta take it.
Take it, man. Take it.
The Andy Dalton nugget. All right.
Okay, I'm ready for this one.
Take it or leave it. Andy Dalton will be the starter for the Dallas Cowboys Week 1.
Oh my gosh, you really put me on the spot like this, didn't you?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm taking it. I'm taking it.
What?
Because Dak Prescott's gonna hold out.
You think so? Oh man. That is a definite possibility.
Unless they pay him. If they haven't paid him though, my boy ain't playing. I don't know why I said my boy. I don't really like him.
I'll put it to you this way. If we can't sign him to an extension by July 15th, he's not signing his tag. I don't think so. I think he'll sit out.
Okay.
In which case, yes, Andy Dalton will be the starter.
Well, he's going to sign the tag because he wants to keep on talking about getting an extension.
True.
And then he just won't show up, just like Melvin Gordon and Le'Veon Bell.
That's true. That is true. I'm going to leave it right now.
Week 7.
I'm going to leave it. Because I think Jerry's going to cave, and I think they're going to pay him. I think they're going to overpay him, and I think that's going to have repercussions on our team for the next several years. But Jerry already showed us he's going to cave with Zeke. He's definitely going to cave with his franchise quarterback. Dak's going to get paid. He's going to be the starter Week 1. He's going to be the guy for the next couple of years. And the chips will fall where they go. We'll see what happens with the cap and with our team after that. I don't know, but I think Jerry's going to cave.
Scary thoughts, Jackson.
Scary thoughts, and as sad as that is.
Last one. The Saints are never going to win another Super Bowl with Drew Brees behind center.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to leave it because I still think they have a chance. I feel like they've been knocking
on the door. This one's for Casey.
This is for Casey. I'm going to leave it because as long as Drew Brees is under center, I feel like you have a chance. You have a chance to make the playoffs, and if you're in the playoffs, you have a chance to go further. And I feel like he is among the elite of the elite quarterbacks. He's definitely a future Hall of Famer. And as long as he's under center for you, you have a better shot at making the playoffs and therefore the Super Bowl than other teams. I feel like he's going to be in contention this year with the NFC. We'll see if they can finally get it done and get there again. They've been knocking on the door for 3 or 4 years straight now. We're either going to see two things, Lucas. We're going to see a massive, rapid regression in the team, or we're going to see them punch through the glass ceiling and make it out. So I'm gonna leave it. I think there's a chance he could become Super Bowl champions again.
I'm gonna leave it. Tom Brady's there. That's all I gotta say. Tom Brady's there.
Wait, so you're taking it then? You're taking it that he won't be.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. I'm taking that he won't win. I'm leaving that he will. I'm leaving your thing, and I'm picking up mine. And I'm taking the first thing I said. Okay.
Right. Because Brady's there now.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it, right? Brady coming in, making it to the Super Bowl, being the first team to host the Super Bowl, and therefore the first team to win the Super Bowl in their own stadium. Drop the mic, boom, done. GOAT. I mean, he already is GOAT, but that's next level GOAT.
So real quick, out of nowhere, do you think, let's say Drew Brees thinks he wants to retire after this year. Uh-huh. He's like, I'm going to give it my all this year, and we're going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
If Tom Brady goes and wins it in his own stadium, do you think he retires? If he retires, I don't want to ask you, do you think he retires?
Right.
Let's say Tom Brady goes, wins it, retires. Does Drew Brees come back for another year?
Yeah.
Because then it's like, Tom Brady's not here. I got to change.
Tom Brady's not in this division anymore, and by go, Sean Payton, we're going to make it one West run, man. Go get me every weapon you possibly can. Give me Marshawn Lynch for the goal line. Go out and get me Cooper or something. Like the Saints will make, and that's it. In that circumstance, they say, okay, we're going all in for Drew Brees 2021. I don't care what draft capital you have to give up. Go get him weapons. That could be scary. I feel like he goes one more year.
Okay.
However, on the flip side, if he somehow wins it this year, he's done.
Okay.
He'll ride off into the sunset as a champion.
I'll feel that. That's it, Jackson.
That was a great podcast, man. That was awesome.
It was a good one.
Yeah, guys, thank you so. I'm sorry.
So it's always a good time.
Heck yeah. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, we can be found where all podcasts can be heard. Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Radio Public, all of it. You can find us on there. Go for 2 podcasts. Just type it in. You'll find us. Got a really cool logo. And then we also upload this every week to YouTube. So youtube.com/Go2podcast. Don't forget to check out the Hometown Heroes exclusive on YouTube videos that we do every single week. Me and Lucas talk about the Titans and the Cowboys, aka the best 2 teams in the league, the only 2 teams that really matter, all in one nice video for you guys. We just uploaded one the other day. Be sure to check it out. Leave a like. Always leave a comment down below. We read comments every single episode at the very beginning. So Tyler, thank you. Casey, you're the GOAT as always, leaving us more than one comment. You're the guy. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we love you. Bye.
Deuces.